Hello everyone, welcome to class series, and in this video we're going to be discussing our question answers of our chapter Jamaican Fragment. So let's move on to our first main, that is C1. In that our first question is, why was the morning walk present to Mr. A.L. Hendricks? The answer of this question is, the morning walk was present to Mr. Hendricks because he could see on either side red and green roof bungalows, green lawns and gardens. Our second question is, the exercise is good for me, says the narrator. What was the exercise? The answer of this question is, walking in the morning from his house to the rail track and returning in the evening was a good exercise for the narrator. Our third question is, what did the narrator notice one morning? The answer of this question is, one morning the narrator noticed two boys playing in the garden of a modest cottage. Our fourth question is, how did the smaller boy behave while playing with the bigger boy? The answer of this question is, while playing, the smaller boy walked majestically up and down and shouted in a commanding tone at the bigger playmate every now and then. Let's move on to our next main, that is C2. In that our first question is, what sight surprised the narrator the next day? The answer of this question is, this time the black boy was commanding while the little white boy was doing everything. The dark boy was striding impressively up and down the lawn while the white boy was walking obediently behind him. This sight surprised the narrator. Our second question is, what were the two commands given by the black boy to the white boy? The answer of this question is, get me a banana and peel it for me, were the two commands given by the black boy to the white boy. Our third question is, why was the white man surprised at the narrator's outburst? The answer of this question is, the white man was surprised at the narrator's outburst because he had known all about the game and the boys were his sons. Our fourth question is, why do you think the narrator smiled at the end? The answer of this question is, narrator's misinterpretation for the game of the two boys was driven away at the end. He felt happy for his country and countrymen, so he smiled at the end. Let's move on to our third main, that is true or false. So I will be giving you the correct answers of the questions in the sense of true or false. So first answer is true, second false, third true, fourth false, fifth false, sixth false, seventh true, eighth false, ninth true, 10th false. Let's move on to our next main, that is C4. Choose the best alternative. So the correct answers are, for question 1, the correct option is B, second C, third A, fourth A, fifth A. Let's move on to our next main, that is C5. Read and discuss your responses with your partner, then write. So first question is, what similarities and differences can you make out between the two boys? The answer of this question is, both the boys were very young, strong and sturdy. They were dressed in blue shirts and khaki pants. They wore no shoes and their feet were muddy. One boy was 4 years old, perhaps, but the other was 5. The big boy was very dark, with a mat of coarse hair on his head and coal black eyes. But the small boy was white, with hazel eyes and light brown hair. These were the similarities and the differences we can make out between the two boys. Our second question is, what three commands did the small boy give to the big boy? The answer of this question is, pick up that stick, jump into the flowers, and get me some water, were the three commands given by the bigger black boy to the smaller white boy. Our third question is, the author could find no answer to some questions. What are those questions? See paragraph 5. The answer of this question is, was it that even as a boy he sensed that in his own country he would be at the white man's beck and call? Could he make a difference between himself and the white boy? Could he think that he was going to boss over the black man? For these questions, the author could not find any answer. Our fourth question is, why was the narrator surprised the next morning? The answer of this question is, the next morning the boys were there again. Narrator stopped and looked just to see what the white boy was making his little servant do. But that day the dark boy was commanding, while the little white boy did everything he was told to do. The dark boy was striding impressively up and down the lawn, while the white boy walked obediently behind him. So the narrator was surprised. Our fifth question is, how did the two boys behave while playing? The answer of this question is, the boys were playing the game of master and servant. They were behaving like a master and servant. One day, the white boy was walking majestically up and down, shooting in a commanding tone at the black boy as he was the master. Black Boy dragged on quietly behind him and did whatever he was told. The next day, the black boy was commanding the white boy as the master. White boy was doing everything. Dark boy was striding impressively up and down the lawn while the white boy walked obediently behind him. Our sixth question is, what made the narrator think that the black boy could be the son of a servant or a classmate of the white boy? The answer of this question is, the narrator saw the white boy imposing his will upon the black boy and the black boy submitted. This made the narrator to think that the black boy could be the son of the servant. But both the boys being dressed alike in blue shirts and khaki pants made the narrator to think that the black boy could be a classmate of the white boy. Our seventh question is, what were the 2 points that the narrator wanted to clarify to the white man? The answer of this question is, narrator wanted to clarify to the white man whether the blacks would rule over the whites or the white rule over the blacks. Only grown-ups were silly and had wrong notions by observing the game of the two boys. He tried to clarify to the white man that the boys were playing just a game of masters and servant only, not realizing that both the boys were the man's son and he was aware of their games. Our eighth question is, the two boys, though brothers, differ in their color. What might be the reason? The answer of this question is, the white man was married to the brown woman. Because of this interracial marriage, the children born to them differ in their color through they were brothers. Our last question, that is ninth question, is, if you were the white man, how would you react to the narrator's comment? The answer of this question is, if I were the white man, I would react in the same way what the white man did. I would tell him that I knew all about the game and the boys were brothers. I would invite the narrator to my home and introduce my family members to him and would tell him about my family.